Hello, I'm Dan Brera, and in this video we're going to look at creating projects and doing pre-configuration using AnyWARE Cloud. So we log into our AnyWARE Cloud account where we're presented with our current jobs list. And in this exercise, we're going to create a new project, a new job, and add tests to it that could be synced to the LAN tech for testing out in the field. We begin by pressing the plus button to add a new job. And the requirements are that we give the job a name and we choose what type of tester and we assign a customer to that. So we'll call this project test project 1. And I can just hit the tab key and go down to my device type, and either using the mouse or my keyboard, this is a twisted pair. And my customer, so we have to add a customer. So if it's a new installation, or not installation, but if it's a new AnyWARE Cloud account, there will be no customers. So when I create a customer, that customer is now saved to the system. But on the first time using it, I'll need to create a customer name. So I'll just call this Dan. I'll give it my name and an address, first name. Well, how about we'll call this Dan's office. And last name could be anything you want. And the telephone number, you can just put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. It doesn't have to be a real number. An email address, it does have to have a valid format, but it doesn't have to be we don't check the email address is what I'm saying here. So we'll just call it Dan B at, and lastly, an address, which is not required, a city is not required, and a country, USA, and zip code is not required. You can add a logo. We won't do that right now, but you can go to any graphics file, a JPEG, PNG, GIF file, and that will be added to the reports instead of the ideal logo. So we've got Dan's office as a customer, and if we've added more customers, then we'll see those listed here. That can be done in the menu bar to add more customers if we like later on. So we'll hit the next button, and identifiers, and these are metadata tags, and we'll go ahead and show you how to do that. It is not required, but we'll do a custom metadata range. And you can use the TIA 606 standard, but we'll go ahead and just do a custom range since this is probably what more people are going to do. You can choose which of these boxes you want to select. And it goes from large to small in terms of the topology of the job installation. So building or site, so we could do building, floor, level, tier. So there's different tags for these things. The closet, DCEF, so we'll maybe do telecommunications room. And then the next level down is going to give us MDF, cabinet enclosure, frame, rack. So let's do rack. And then last will be patch panel. So you could choose any of these, all of them, any combination of them. So maybe I only want to do the floor, the rack, and the panel. And what that means is for each test I add, we'll be including this information, not in the test name, but this information is associated with that test. So later on, when we're filtering and looking for different test locations, or in the LAN tech, when our installers are out in the field, they can choose to filter on this data. So instead of seeing all of the tests in the list while they're doing the testing, that technician can specify that he is on a certain floor or at a certain rack or in a certain panel, and only those tests show up. And we'll look at how that works, and it makes the job of testing a whole lot easier. So right now we're saying I want to include this information when I add my tests. So we'll hit submit. So what we've done now is we've created a job that's empty, but it has that information in it. So there's no tests in here yet. This is just an empty shell of a job where we can add tests next. These little green tick bars or switches here are used to make that project syncable in the cloud. So right now it defaults to on, and that means that this project can be synced back and forth to a LAN tech. I can turn that off if I'm not ready, because as soon as this job is live, a technician out in the field can hit the sync on their tester and it would pull it down, including any tests that we've created in it. So I might not be ready yet for that project to be synced or to go live. So I'll turn that off. Then we go into the job. And right now we have no tests in the job. So we will add tests by hitting the plus icon in the menu bar up top. And these are going to be twisted pair tests. And the prefix for the start of the test, we can choose from any of these names here: access point, cable, camera, etc. So let's say we're doing cameras. You can use custom and type anything you'd like in there. So I'll just show you how that works actually. So we'll go to custom, but maybe I'm still doing camera, so I can type camera. But what this does is let me add punctuation such as a dash. So I'll say camera dash, and I can hit tab, and by default it's going to go from 1 to 24. So let's keep this simple. Let's say that we have 12 cameras on each panel, and they're going to just be numbered starting at number 1. So this first panel, let's say we're doing camera 1 through 12, so we'll go 0, 1 through 12. Now you see if it's red, if the number of characters is not the same, I have 0, 1 to 1, that's going to give up an error. If I do 12, then that's correct because it's the correct number of digits. But if I put an extra digit there, it's going to give a red error. So it's doing real-time checking to make sure the format is correct. Likewise, if I have 2 digits, but then a digit and a letter, it's going to give it an error. So we can have letters, but they have to be the same. So for example, if I go up to here, I can go 0, 1A to 12B, and that's going to give us 24 cameras. And we can see in real time, it shows us what that list is going to look like. So in this case, we'll get camera 12A, and let's just put a little space here so we can adjust our formatting. Maybe we'll do a colon. So we see in real time what the format is going to look like. So camera 01A, 01B, 02A, 02B, and so on. So we can have some pretty sophisticated numbering, including dashes. So I can do a dash B, and you see that's given me an error because the starting number is not in that same format. So again, I could do 01, 01 dash A to 12 dash B. And again, we have the same 24 cameras, but it shows us here. Now it's going to include that dash between the names. So we'll just go back to keeping it simple and just do a 1, 2, 12. Next. We'll choose our test limit here. So I'll choose the US TIA, ANSI TIA permanent link, and we'll do a Cat6A. And generic cabling, cable type will be a Cat6A UTP. And we can choose the NVP and or the connector brand. We'll just leave that as generic. Okay, and next. Now the metadata is going to show using the settings that we selected when we created the job, meaning there's those 3 levels here, floor, rack, and patch panel. So for floor, I can type in, I've got 0, 1 in here. I typed in that just a second ago. Let's call it rack. We'll just be simple. We'll call that rack 0, 1. And patch panel, and I'm just hitting the tab button, patch panel A. This switch here will let us enable those other metadata tags if we'd like to, but it comes in using the settings that we selected when we created the job. So create, and we'll see that now we have these 12 tests, camera 1 through 12. So that first process was a little bit of clicking around and entering information because we're sort of creating a template now. But now that that template is created, it lets me really easily create more tests, and it will use the previous selections. So we have custom camera 1 through 12. So now let's say we're doing cameras 13 through 24, 13 through 24, and go to the next one. And the standard, all that information is from my previous selection, so I don't need to change anything here. And now let's say we've gone to panel B. So maybe we have 12 port panels. So this is now panel B. And it will have added a next group of tests. So we have rack 1, floor 1, rack 1, panel A is cameras 1 through 12. Floor 1, rack 1, panel B is cameras 12 through 24. And let's just do 25 to 36. So we'll go up and add 12 more. And we'll say this is 25 to 36. Same standards. And panel C. Great. And now we have our second group of 12. So 36 cameras or 36 tests that we've added to this job, and it's ready to be synced. So we'll just go back to our jobs list here, flip the green switch. So now it can be synced to Atlantic. And you'll notice there's 36 tests here with nothing been uploaded yet. So the bar is all gray with no green or red, indicating that the upload progress or the progress on this job is essentially 0 as far as AnyWARE Cloud is concerned. The next video will look at syncing these results down to the tester, running some tests, and then syncing the results back to AnyWARE Cloud. I'm Dan Barrera, and thank you for watching.